For plebs, by plebs, dropping the Bitcoin only signal. Pleb Underground. Welcome everyone to the Pleb Underground.
Pleb Underground, now 51. Our mission continues. Not nearly done. Twist it up, it's freshly spun. Corporate uncucks are always fun. Eating grass-fed steak and a little spinach. Cute girls always waiting for the finish. I'm not chicken like Popeye, but working out's embroiled. Can't be tricking, butter her up. Make sure that olive's oiled. Black Swan Bitcoin is the space for only the realist plebs. We hodl Bitcoin harder than the fat that is Taleb's. Insert, here comes Corey.gif. Blocking harder than an LT on a stiff. Was it Nick or Beauty on that show them how it was done? Develop their own blockchain, the work is never done. Marketing, gunning for the IPO. Can't wait to dump on retail, but won't admit so. Fuck crypto rap, I'm a Bitcoin poet. Fuck a plan B, fuck your stock to flow. It was a broken model from the start. Supply, model broken heart. Bitcoin bard, mimetic lyricist. Mathematician, first principles empiricist. Mental arithmetician, fuck the calculators. Rabbits just want the warrant, G. Fuck the regulators. I write rhymes like dimes. Catch blocks for light crimes. Catch blocks like a full black. Hit the hole, now it's full black. Shout out to money that can't be double lipped. Shout out to people that even got double clipped. Shitcoins like whores because they're always getting double dipped. Unforced error like this week from Corey Clipston. Balls out of tango. Ocho, get the hips in. Corporate Bitcoin. Bug life always enrolling. Plebs about that nug life. Always be rolling. Buy her a box of chocolates just like Forrest Gump. Not much vanilla. Time for Forrest Hump. Bitcoin only. Eventually the rest dump. Keep working on that ain't no best slump. Breaking news and markets. Everyone driving, but few can park it. Not soaring up high like an American eagle. This week, an embarrassment for minimum legal. Is it a lack of due diligence or a black swan event? Or the beginning of the swan song? Who will lament? They can't take the jokes from Beckett or Gold Leader. Ironic as fuck when they've got their own gold leader. They're always smiling, but ain't time for elation. They need heavyweight management, like our guest NEEDCreation.
Walton, absolutely insane. All right, guys. That's right. In case you didn't understand, joining us today, we've got fellow pleb and Bitcoiner NEEDCreations. Thank you so much for joining us on the Pleb Underground. What's happening, man?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're excited to have you on the show. And right now, we are going to move it on over to the numbers.
Yeah, the numbers, of course, brought to us by TimeChain Stats and TimeChain Calendar. The first number this week, there are 2 fills.
Let's go. Both 1Ls, too.
At the time of this recording, the block height is 803,796. The fiat Bitcoin exchange, 26,055. Total public lightning capacity, 4,778.1. Moscow time, 38. Not bad, huh? Fastest fee, 16 sats per VByte. And our always infamous, which hopefully we're going to be able to show it soon as part of TimeChain Calendar, the chain rewrite days, 713. Boom. The numbers. A lot of people feeling the heat this week.
Let's just talk some proof of work numbers here. Like Need's been on a journey that I've been on myself. Like I lost 45 pounds over the last 2 years net, but Need's been working hard as well. Need, can you share some of your numbers with us?
Yeah, sure. My all-time high fiat weight is 350, so I'm currently down 20 from that. I think I hit that like peak quarantine. So
yeah, of course.
Yeah, I was a healthy weight my whole life until mid-20s maybe, when I started really losing it on the diet front, really making some high time preference choices day after day for a long time. So since becoming a Bitcoiner and falling down the rabbit hole of, you know, making yourself a better person and lowering your time preference, I've learned a lot about the carnivore diet, and I've also been motivated to get back into exercising. Got a new gym membership within the past couple months, and I've been going quite a bit. And yeah, I just been getting tons of encouragement on Twitter from the plebs, which is just amazing. I have a very supportive family too. I'm very lucky, but it's also just great to get it from strangers and also acquaintances that I've met over the years on Bitcoin Twitter. it's kind of cool, and everyone's rooting for me, and I definitely feel that. So I appreciate the love.
Absolutely.
I would like to describe Bitcoin as a catalyst for reducing your time preference. And I think one of the biggest ways that we see people do it across Bitcoin is working on their health and fitness, in many different ways. So credit to you for that. Thanks.
All right, let's take a look at some some other numbers, right? And we're going to talk a little bit more about your fitness journey when we dive into the fireside chat. All right, our first set of numbers is ordinal sales down 97% since May. Our Bitcoin NFTs over. They were never a thing to begin with. I know that people pretended because Udi and Eric were really loud about this, but no, ordinals just wrecked, and this is we told you so, and just wait. The sales are down 97%. Wait till they're all worth completely nothing. Wait till they're all minus 99%. Anyways, there you go. There's the order.
There's always another 99% drop.
That's right. Exactly. All right. Little bit more numbers here, guys. Check this one out at Chad Blackburn. If you made,
I saw this one.
You see, yeah, exactly. Right. I think this one's pretty interesting and sad all at the same time. If you made $500,000 per day, every single day since the Great Pyramids were built, you would have less than half of what the U.S. government has borrowed since June. It just illustrates the, I guess the mind-boggling nature of the amount of money printing that is going on. What's
so
up?
I've got a cool animation I can show you on exactly this, looking at like the rates of how much the money flows. Let's have a look at this animation. The guy that built this builds a bunch of things, and looking at just like relative scale of things. There's a really good one on space, for example, but the one I'm showing you here is about money printing, and we're just going to look at like how much money flows, right? If you're on minimum wage, I don't know if you can see the dollars do move slowly across, right? So you're getting $7.25 an hour. If you're a teacher, apparently making $16. Some software engineers are making $45. You see the money moving a little bit faster. Doctors, $90 an hour. Fortune 500 CEO, $4K an hour. Okay, this is ticking a little bit, right? Those are still single dollar bills. You can put your own hourly pay in, right?
Oh, that's nice.
Let's scroll down. Twitter revenue. Oh, sorry, X.com revenue. It's pretty less now, isn't it? $350K per hour. You see these are stacks. They're $1,000 stacks going past. Okay. NASA spending $2.5 million per hour. Okay, so those are like stacks of like $4,000 going past each time. Facebook revenue $8 million an hour. Amazon revenue $32 million per hour. Walmart revenue $59 per hour. Now $59 million per hour. Now it's not worth noting that some of the bigger like retailers like Walmart, they're selling a lot of low margin items, and so they're doing big revenue. They might not be making quite as much money as some of these big tech companies above, but Walmart revenue still nothing compared to U.S. military spending $84 million per hour. But we're still not getting to the big numbers.
Dude, it's going so fast.
U.S. deficit increase. So this is the amount of money being spent beyond what politicians collect in taxes. Essentially, this is how much money is being printed by the Fed for the U.S. government per hour. $125 million per hour. Per hour.
It's nuts.
That is. See how many rows that is? And they're like moving so fast, they're moving backwards. It's like the graphics can't even, you know what I mean? Like the algorithm can't even keep up with it.
But it's wild, isn't it? Like the numbers just don't, like, we talk about this all the time. Like $1 million used to be like a big number in your head. Like, if I had $1 million, I'd get a big mansion and all this sort of stuff. It's like now $1 million, you're getting like a 3-bed home in a really nice neighborhood, maybe if you're lucky. Like I just saw like recently there's some not too far from me. Like there's someone selling a 1-bedroom flat for like £550,000. I'm thinking, wait, so that, and it's not even something that's got a view or something. Like it's like I'm like, what is that? So that's what $700,000 for a 1-bedroom. Like what the fuck is going? It's insane. It's insane, but it's because of the money printing that humans haven't got a proper store of value, and so they keep putting it into real estate because, property always goes up, right, Phil?
Yeah, exactly. That's, with property, I have a hard time. I do have a hard time with that because part of me is like, yeah, it's the only real thing that you can have, but you don't really have it because you always have to pay taxes on it. And as we've learned from the Canadian government, they can decide to just take it away from you at any, like you're actually just renting this thing that we tell you that you own. So I have a hard time with it. I really do. You know, like it's just unbelievable. But man, I think that the really scary part about this is that we don't realize like our future doesn't even exist, right? Like they've printed, I'm talking about the whole world, right? Like between the IMF, all of, you know, the IMF, the Federal Reserve, the, you know, the Bank of International Settlements, like all of these institutions, the amount of like economic activity that has been created in order to satisfy whatever the fuck it is that they're building, this giant, I don't know what this is, this, you know, global, you know, all-seeing eye. It's robbed. I mean, I feel like it's robbed, you know, hundreds of generations down the line, and we don't even know it yet, right? Like that's really what I feel like. And I feel like we have no way out of this. And that's why they're going to a certain extent, I do believe that they're going to introduce a CBDC. I didn't mean to make this go into a CBDC type of conversation in the numbers, but I do, you know, when you show that graph, Walton, of all the money printing, I just don't see any other way out. Phil, what are your thoughts on this? We've just been rambling. Sorry, I've been rambling.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And the way you put it, where how do we know how many generations have been will have been affected by this? It might be hundreds, thousands. It might pretty crazy. And what's going to happen when they implement the CBDC? Are they going to just forget about all the debt? Are they just going to cancel it all? Like, I kind of made a prediction way back when they paused student loan payments that they're never going to be able to unpause them. And so far, they've just kicked the can down the road, and I've been right so far. And even when they say that they started again, I can't even keep track of it. Maybe they started again, but there's like fine line that says, oh, but if you don't pay them, you're not penalized, and we're not going to fine you. And so no one's going to pay them, right? I mean, so it's just a mess. It really is a mess.
So do you think that we're just going straight to UBI? Like, do you think that that's really what's happening? Like everybody is just going to be getting paid to, you know, like, you know, right? If you believe in the whole depopulation thing, right? The people that are quote unquote left are just going to be getting paid to sit around, which is,
I think that's how they're going to push the CBDC, is they're going to dangle a few $100s of UBI in your face to get you to sign up. And I think everyone's going to do it. Maybe
I personally think 2020, in 2020, they realized they needed to do a bunch of money printing. So we better hand some of that out. But why should we just give people money? Oh, well, if we pay them to stay in their own homes.
It's true. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous, right? Like we've never seen anything like this. So it was absolutely crazy. Anyways, guys, let us know what you think about the money printing. Put it in the comments. And we are going to move on over to the Fireside Chat. Check out the all-new Cypher Grid that comes with an awesome punch tool by CypherSafe.io. You can't trust paper. It's not enough. You need something that is virtually indestructible. Store your seed in the Cypher Grid. Check it out at CypherSafe.io. If you appreciate high-quality, intricate Bitcoin art, check out the Bitcoin Rouleau Triangle exclusively at CypherSafe.io. 16 ounces of pure titanium. That's right, the Bitcoin Rouleau Triangle at CypherSafe.io. All right, everyone. For the Fireside Chat, we are going to do a deep dive with Phil about Phil. So, oh no, wait, sorry. We've been calling you NEEDCreations the whole time. Or have we? Have we been calling you NEEDCreations the whole time?
Yeah, you can say need if that makes it more clear for your audience, but yeah.
Okay, because we're both Phil. So,
right.
All right. So we're for the sake of this, we're going to call you Need, and I'm Phil. Okay, perfect. All right. So look, before we dive in, like, why don't you tell us a little bit about your the rabbit hole story?
My rabbit hole story began probably in 2017 when a YouTube ad prompted me to sign up for an exchange. I believe it was Coinbase, and I quickly fell victim to unit bias and bought a bunch of shit coins, thinking it was the next Bitcoin. Like most of us fall to that trap. But it took a few years, and then rediscovering Bitcoin in early 2020. And it was mainly the Internet of Money series by Andreas Antonopoulos. And he really convinced me that Bitcoin is here to stay and that it is winning the race and can't be stopped. So I was pretty convinced. I sold everything besides Bitcoin. I sold all my stocks. I went all in immediately. Like, I still remember the moment I'm sitting where I was that three plus years ago when it happened, and I went on a walk, listened to more podcasts, discovered GG, discovered Parker Lewis and VJ, and read all the classics. And then I created a Bitcoin education Discord, and I started conglomerating all the resources that I would find and grew a little community there. And I still add to that Discord all the time. It's kind of my go-to place to source information. And anytime I want to find something, it's actually the main reason I won Michael Saylor's. I was one of the winners of his lightning meme competition, because when he asked for a lightning meme, I went to my Discord and typed in lightning meme, and 20 of them popped up, and I just posted all of them, and one of them ended up getting me the 1,000,000 sats. So, but yeah, the rabbit hole is endless, as we all kind of figure out, and it leads into all aspects of life, right? It's most recently, as we spoke about, I've been diving into my fitness journey so that I can enjoy all this value I've been putting into Bitcoin for the rest of my life, so that I'm fit and have more energy to enjoy it. And it's also more recently had me dive deeper into my faith, into Christianity, and I feel really good about that, and just getting closer to Jesus. And I think that Jesus is a fan of Bitcoin. I think it's a gift. Bitcoin is a gift from God to help humanity open their minds to goodness. And I'm not just saying that baselessly. I personally know dozens of Bitcoiners who have found Christianity in the past 3 years.
I was actually what I call a devout atheist, and
so
I don't know. I'm very much an agnostic now. I look back at Christianity, and you could argue that Christianity failed because gold was the currency, and that led to centralizing effects and corruption and the Catholic Church, etc., etc. If there was true decentralized money back at the time, would you have had Christianity spread in a more sustainable way? Because I think you can argue pretty easily that the kind of most I don't know, the most developed societies have Christian values or Judeo-Christian values. I think it's pretty fair to argue that. But because in England, right, we devolved the church from the state. But until you devolve the church from state money, can you really devolve the church from the state?
Yeah, you bring up some really interesting points there, and how would society be different if we started off with a truly decentralized, censorship resistant currency? That opens up a whole new rabbit hole to think about. And Bitcoin's only 14 years old, whereas gold has been around for 5,000 years as currency. So things are going to happen really quickly, and who knows where we'll be in 5 years. But I think a lot of good is going to come of this. And like I said, Christians are finding Bitcoin, and Bitcoiners are finding Christianity. It's going both ways. And just something that came up in my mind when you were talking about this is one time I saw a tweet that talked about how like running a node on Bitcoin is like the nodes of Christianity is the Bible, right? It's the rule enforcer. It's kind of interesting to think about. There's a lot of tie-ins. Mentioning Gigi before, he has an entire thread with hundreds of tweets relating Bitcoin to religion, and not just Christianity, but every religion. There's information in there. People we're not the only ones to think this, and everyone's coming to the similar conclusion that that Bitcoin's pretty special, and the decentralized nature of it and the open source nature of it, where Bitcoin is for everyone, even for enemies, right? It doesn't discriminate. These are all things that are kind of similar to religions in a way.
I kind of see Satoshi a bit like more like a Noah rather than a second coming, right? We now have published, or will we soon, Ark, right? But I think Bitcoin is the Ark, right? The orange lifeboat that's saving us, you know. Exactly. And of course Noah's Ark 2 by 2. Well, this time it's bit by bit, of course, 2 at a time.
Hell yeah,
I like that.
That's great.
That's very well said. So tell us a little bit about the Bitcoin education resources that you're putting together. Like, besides the Discord, is there anything else?
I'm specifically interested in TikTok as well, because I know you do Bitcoin TikToks, and I find this concept kind of mind-blowing, because the people that are on TikTok have almost like negative concentration spans, right? Like, apparently the average length of before a swipe on TikTok is like under 10 seconds. So it's like, it's bad enough trying to elevator pitch someone on Bitcoin or teach them anything about Bitcoin when you've got like half an hour or 5 minutes. How do you actually pull in anyone to listen and try and learn about Bitcoin on TikTok when they have such short attention spans? And Bitcoin is very much not something that the Bitcoin education is not really geared towards people with short attention spans, just because there is a lot to learn. You have to kind of persevere, and so there's an inherent, I guess, battle between the psychology. You can't go down a rabbit hole if you're swiping after 9 seconds. So how do you do it?
Right.
TikTok,
well,
next block.
It's kind of similar to how we approach things on Twitter. A lot of memes and being funny, just making engaging content, taking trends and Bitcoinizing them. I spent a lot of time making videos. I made one a day for a few months on TikTok. It's unfortunate because the hashtag and speaking about Bitcoin or putting content about Bitcoin is shadow banned to the max on Twitter. Your views will only go so high before they stop putting the video out. They suppress it. And this is not just me. This is everyone that's tried Bitcoin TikTok videos. I think TipNZ is having a little bit more. I think she's broken the creative barrier on TikTok. She's found a way. So I think if you're gonna advocate for Bitcoin TikTok videos, check out what TipNZ is doing.
Yeah, okay, look, one sec. Look, once you've finished your fitness journey, I think you're gonna outcompete her. Like, look, you gotta just I need a pretty face. Right, you gotta the face will come, Phil. The face will come. You work on the body and the face will come.
Yeah, but like you said, the attention span's really short, so you just have to somehow make it engaging, make it funny, make it striking, make it controversial. Take a trend and spin it in some kind of a Bitcoin way, and that's how you push the message. And you just you use call to action, right? You just send them to a website or something, satoshisjournal.com, or 21 lessons by GG or something like that. I've done videos in that regard. But yeah, just like we do on Twitter. In just
have you spoken to anyone who's come to Bitcoin through TikTok? Are there any of those?
Personally, no. I've had some people in my DMs on TikTok ask me questions, so there's that. Some people in the comments. There's a lot of haters in the comments.
Yep.
But I'll reply maturely and just kind of try to point them in the right direction. But the younger generation, they're aware of inflation, so I think they're going to learn about why Bitcoin is valuable faster than kind of we have picked it up, because the dollar is not going as far as it was even for us.
You say that, Phil, but back to the old attention span and like perseverance on what, to me, Zoomers, like it's crazy how they just give up. Like
yeah, they don't get
you're getting all sorts of Zoomers just like quitting jobs and they don't have any backup plan just because they don't really like. It's just like there's just lots of, they just give up like as a generation. And I think that actually gives them an extra challenge when it comes to adopting Bitcoin. But we'll see. We'll see. Good luck to them.
There's not a lot of proof of work evidence from the generation yet. It's a lot of, how do I earn passive income? They're obsessed with they're obsessed with doing nothing and earning money, basically. How do I do absolutely nothing and earn money? How do I become a social media influencer and make...
Why? Because education is increasingly getting them to do less. Why? Because there is time theft from everyone, and so parents have less time to support each other and to do consistent parenting, which means that it's the responsibility of the education system to try and do some of that parenting and turn these children into, you know, growing adolescents, and then they try and squeeze in some education at the same time. And it's not ideal situation at all, but this is, I just see this, like fiat erosion of a whole bunch of things in society, and it's because time is being stolen. And that trickles through all sorts of things.
Yeah, I mean, you're speaking to a high school teacher who starts work next week with a brand new group of students who are obsessed with 3-second dopamine hits, and I'm supposed to teach them math for an hour and a half every day. So I understand the struggle is real. So it's about just adapting to that and just trying to make it engaging as possible, and just being patient and just working hard. Proof of work.
Yeah, I think that's very well said. The whole time that you guys were talking about that, it just kind of made me think about how, you know, the boomers, when they entered a job market, right? Like you could start off in a company, have zero experience and work your way up, you know, 10, 15 years, you know, you could end up becoming a manager, possibly, you know, like an upper director, whatever it is, just by experience alone. Didn't even really have to have an education. I mean, you know, there's even situations where some people can barely write, and they were able to do that. Now,
there's a whole bunch of senior teachers, for example, that don't have teaching qualifications because they started teaching before teaching qualifications existed.
So, but you see, but that's the thing, right? So those people, they got in, right? But then all of a sudden, these institutions were built up to create a whole bunch, because you see, this is the thing, right? Like all of these companies, these boomer created companies, or boomer run companies, they don't want to deal with somebody that they have to train from all the way at the bottom. Okay. Like they don't want to deal with that crap. They want to have, if you think about it, educated labor. So what do? Right? You create a whole entire system and institution around all of this education, but really all you're doing is you're making just a whole bunch of employees. And if you think about it, you have all these people doing, you know, the work. So it's like all of these people have gone through school. We've created this whole institution that values education above all else. And then in the meantime, you go out into the workforce, and with this amazing education, you're barely making ends meet. It's just, I don't know. It's very, you know, I know it sounds like very like tinfoil hat take, but I do think that there is some type of a correlation, you know, between like, we'll say the expansion of all of the education facilities and services since the boomers. Like, I'm pretty sure that there's a correlation there. So I don't know. I do feel like it's somewhat of a scam. I genuinely do, because I know people who have gone and paid a lot of money, right, for an education.
You mean like people who've gone to college and studied something shit, basically, Phil,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like that's
right.
To me, that's where it got a scam. Like engineering, medicine, you know, a couple other things. Go and study at university because you actually do need to learn something. But yeah, you don't need to go and study media studies at university. Like just learn how to do some actual, you know, editing, whatever. Like you can do these things more like apprenticeships. But yeah, now the job market. Oh, we want you to have a 2.1, as we call it, or like a GPA of 3.5, whatever it is. But it's not relevant for the actual job. But it's because everyone has that. So then everyone needs that, and it's there's all this ring fencing, and what do they call it? Like regulatory moats. Boomers are really good at building regulatory moats around industry and increasing the barrier to entry. Oh, that means that that industry is making more money. No, just because people have to there's just a whole bunch of nonsense that really doesn't help, but makes them seem more impressive, right? Because then you can't
Exactly, right? Like they get to keep, right? They get to stay the kings of their castle, right? They get to be the kings of their little sandbox.
King of the castle, king of the castle.
The nerd castle. That's
I
us.
love Borat, man.
I love. Oh yeah, Borat's great. All right, so let's go back to let's talk about Satoshi's journal here before we wrap up the fireside chat. What's like? Tell us about Satoshi's journal. I know that this is something you've been working on for a while. I know that DJ Satoshi also works on this. Talk to us about it.
Yeah, so we're an educational platform, and the goal is to orange pill the world. We have a great website, satoshijjournal.com. We focus on Bitcoin stories as well as educational articles, and we pay our writers in sats to write for us. So that's one of the big pitches to come write for us, because if you write for another publication, they own the work. You can't even redistribute it. But if you write for Satoshi's Journal, we pay you in sats and you own the work. You can do whatever you want with it. So that's kind of a great benefit of writing for us. And we have a goal of creating one Bitcoin educational product per year. So last year I created the pleb cards, the standard deck of 52 playing cards, and there's a Bitcoin educational topic on each one. I took Bitcoin and I divided it into 52 parts, and I got a graphic for each card and a little description. So I've been selling those. Bitcoiners are loving them, and it was a lot of fun to put together. It was about 5 years of research condensed into a 52 deck playing card set. So that was our first product, and this year we published a Bitcoin children's book called Super Satoshi. It's a story written for anywhere from like age 3 to 9, and it's about families who get their time stolen from them by monsters due to inflation, which isn't really mentioned in the book. But these monsters are stealing the time of the family, so they don't get to spend a lot of time together. So Super Satoshi comes down and he introduces Bitcoin, and it gives everyone their time back to spend with their families, and there's a happy ending. So that was our second educational product. So we had a setback where we were building a school and going to host a conference in Nigeria. Bitcoin adoption in Nigeria is one of the highest in the whole world. So we were focusing on Nigeria for a time. One of our co-founders was from Nigeria, but we ran into some trouble, a little bit of a setback, and we had to cancel both of those things, unfortunately. But ever since then, we've been pushing hard on some new ideas, and I represented Satoshi's Journal this summer in Boston in partnership with the Mass Adoption Bitcoin Meetup Group, and we threw a Freedom Festival, which was amazing. It was year one of a festival we plan on throwing every single year. We had about 100 people show up, and we had speakers like Greg Foss, Larry Lepard, David Foley, BJ Dichter from the Canadian Freedom Convoy came down from Canada with some big rigs. We had Texas Slim come up and do a beef initiative cow roast. It was amazing. Best beef I've ever tasted in my life. And we've had a basketball tournament for sats. We had 3 different Bitcoin musicians perform, and had a band. It was great. Everyone had a great time, and we're planning year 2. And this has always been a dream of mine to run a festival ever since I kind of fell into the electronic dance music rabbit hole back when I was in college. So I've always wanted to do some type of a festival, and I've done it. So I'm very excited for the future of Satoshi's Journal and mass adoption.
Oh man, that is absolutely awesome. And I also I am a fan of EDM as well, so I do appreciate that.
Oh yeah. Did you go to Miami and to the Sound Money Fest in 2021 when they had they had like San Holo and
All I remember is Logic. I'm not gonna lie. And since then I've basically just listened to Logic. Like, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was a great day.
Yeah. That was a great show. Props to them, because we're kind of imitating that with the Freedom Festival, and next year we're gonna book some pretty big acts. So it's gonna be great.
What are the dates for this Freedom Festival?
Not set yet, but it will be summer 2024.
Is there a website for it, or is there a link that we can provide the viewers?
Yeah, well, I don't think the new website is live yet, but I'll get you guys something.
Isn't there a Twitter maybe? What's your Twitter handle for the?
Yeah. Satoshi's Journal is @Satoshi's Journal, and mass adoption is BTC_mass.
Okay, so we will add that to the show notes so the viewers can go and check that out. That is absolutely awesome, man. Thank you so much for sharing. And guys, this wraps up the Fireside Chat. And we are moving on over to REKT. REKT is brought to you by Crypto Cloaks. Check them out, cryptocloaks.com. Amazing 3D prints made by fellow Bitcoiners, like the 3D printed grenade. That's right. It fits 2 open dimes. If you get the bigger one, it fits a full signing device. And use the code PlebUnderground for 5% off at cryptocloaks.com. All right, guys, for REKT this week, we're going to go through some tweets because honestly, I don't know what like WTF happened in the last 24 hours. I'm not even talking about the Bitcoin price. Like, who gives a shit about the fiat exchange? Like, what the hell happened out there? It's like all of a sudden, we're trying to build an airplane in the sky that's already flying. Like, it's just the wheels fell off. Everything was on fire. I genuinely felt like it was a dumpster fire. And I'm not saying that it was Bitcoin Magazine's fault, but I'm also kind of saying that they didn't help it. Anyways, let's dive into this because there were multiple narratives. Nobody knows what the hell happened. And I think that still the average Bitcoiner still has no idea what happened. So let's dive into this. All right. So here's the tweet from yesterday. It's 6:01 p.m. Elon Musk SpaceX sold all its 373 million Bitcoin. And of course, that's not at all what happened. That has already been corrected. So shout out to Predator. And I actually read the Wall Street Journal report. I think Bitcoin Magazine is wrong here. Yes, the report claims that SpaceX marked down the value of their Bitcoin by 373 million. By the way, that doesn't mean they sold it and sold some, but selling some doesn't necessarily mean they have no Bitcoin left. Okay, and here we have a screenshot. The document also shows SpaceX wrote down the value of Bitcoin it owns by a total of 373 million last year and in 2021. So this kind of just seems like total FUD. But wait, there are more theories. Next, we have the steeper declines occurred shortly after reports that the property developer China Evergrande had filed for bankruptcy protection. That destroyed Bitcoin in the US, stoking fears that troubles in China's real estate markets could spread into other parts of the global economy. But wait, that might not be it. A few minutes later, we've got another article, okay, that came out that the SEC is set to greenlight ETH futures, okay? And all of a sudden, people are sitting there thinking like that has anything to do with this. So here we go. This doesn't mean that it is approved. It just means that it's very likely that they will not block the approval. And I think this is the signal right here. It's not very relevant since BTC has ETF futures since 2021, which is true. So I mean that the ETF news for ETH is just a giant nothing burger and has nothing to do with it. But wait. There's more. There could be other reasons why we had the sudden price drop. I don't suggest anybody follow this asshat, okay, because he is a shitcoin scammer. But he did give this very interesting take, so we will use it. Friday, the 18th, in the US, Grayscale could get the ETF approval. This info may have leaked, and people are going long GBTC and short BTC. And if you look, that's what's happening. GBTC discount down, aka people buying GBTC, and BTC down, aka selling it right away to pocket the discount. Mad, I know it kind of sounds plausible, but I looked at GBTC, it was up 19 cents. Like that's fucking peanuts. Anyways, and it had also spiked down before it was up 19 cents. But either way, we've got more theories. That's right, guys. Binance was at the bottom of all of it as well. All right, so we've got this tweet from @MartyPartyMusic. All right, so CZ Binance is in self-preservation mode, selling BTC from this address wallet for TUSD and buying BNB to save his exchange.
This one sounds believable to me.
I know, right? From a fatal margin call. That's right. They can't let the price of it supposedly go below 212 or 220. I don't know what the numbers are, but guys, we are all just wrecked. Okay, like that. We are wrecked by this stupid news. Okay, like this is.
I haven't got fewer sats, so each to their own.
Yeah, no, I mean either. I don't have fewer sets either, but I'm talking about the news in general. Like, this is just absolute crap, right? Everybody's just kind of throwing anything at the wall that sticks. Okay, so Walton, you already told me that you think the most plausible of all of those, if we had to choose one, was the BNB one, right? I can't disagree with that. I also was like, all right, the Evergrande deal, man, I don't think anybody really gives a shit. But the BNB stuff, like, that kind of makes sense.
The last year, 18 months has all been crypto contagion, right? We had all these like funds blowing up last year. And then it was, oh, who's next? Is it CZ? Is it Binance? All in due course. I don't know. I think, yeah, I don't know. Like, if at some point, I wonder if, you know, these exchanges, and we've talked before, Coinbase is going to get basically 6102 by the US. Maybe China does the same with Binance. Like these big exchanges, like any big businesses, are heavily intertwined with the state. There is no avoiding it.
Yeah, very well said.
Because they need protection, essentially, like from the state. But I think, yeah, there's a lower time preference being taken with regards to these things by people around them. I'm convinced exchanges, if they're not going to rug you, the government will rug you with the exchange.
The government's already rugging everybody, anyways. Phil, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, when it comes down to it, all that it means to me is a period of cheaper sats to stack. Honestly, I think, you know,
do you think any of those takes are real? Like, do you think any of those are the right one? I should say.
I do think retail and even the whales have reacted to the fake news of SpaceX selling their Bitcoin. I think there probably was a dump as a result of that tweet. It seems to be the case. I also kind of put on my tinfoil hat, and is this a coordinated attack so that the elite can get a cheaper price before the ETF is approved? Like, these things came one after another, like the China news came right after this. And then,
yes, it was
the Binance speculative tweet, which that sounds truthful as well. Like, they need to prop that price up. So, I mean, maybe it's all true or maybe it's not, but the market reacts to it and it just means cheaper sats. So, you know, try to get as much as you can before the elites get in, for retail.
I think you're, you know what, I do, I think you're right. And I just want to point back to, for the listeners, for the viewers that, you know, weren't here in the last cycle or even the cycle before that. So I remember when I first got in and into Bitcoin, but I was still shitcoining at the time. Okay. So I wasn't Bitcoin only yet, and going through the first cycle. And I remember seeing this type of news based on anything. And I remember being one of those people that would go and be like, oh no, I need to get out of this now. You know, like, this piece of news came out. That means it's over. You know, so-and-so thing is over. So to your point, there are definitely weak hands out there. Like, I was one of those weak hands. I know they exist, you know, so it's like, oh yeah, you know, I better get out of this. Now, to your point, we see these types of things. It's just zero. It's zero fucks given. You know, it's like, now I just look at it and all I'm trying to do is figure out what other people think the narrative is. Like, for me, it's like a challenge, right? Like, you see this type of stuff happen. Number one, I want to figure out, okay, what can I take out of my expenses to buy more sats on the dip? And number two, I want to see all the narratives because I want to figure out what people are thinking. All right, guys, that wraps up REKT, and we are moving on over to the Hopium.
The Hopium. Up next, we have Hopium, sponsored by Represent. Represent are a Bitcoin-owned brand based out on the West Coast, making some excellent apparel and accessories. Here you can see the Taco Pleb Underground Represent shirt, which unfortunately is a limited edition, so you can't buy it, but you can buy something almost as cool, maybe even as cool, if you head over to representltd.com, and if you use the code PlebUnderground, you'll get a discount on all of the goodies. Once again, that's representltd.com. So guys, this week on Hopium, we have two stories. One story is actually a story you've already seen this week, thanks to Phil. So there's always two sides to people getting wrecked, right? Especially when it's idiots selling Bitcoin. So apparently Elon sold some Bitcoin, right? Or SpaceX sold some Bitcoin. But here, Mr. Pish, it says, thank God, it's about time it's in better hands. And I think it's a very good point, right? Like, there's a lot of idiots that will sell Bitcoin or buy Bitcoin on the news of bigger people or bigger companies doing the same. Fools, the lot of them. Around here, we buy, and we hodl. What the fuck are you doing, guys? Like, come on. And this week, you get to buy Elon's Bitcoin. You get to give fiat to the richest man on the planet for real money. Sounds like quite a good deal to me.
But then we found out the story was FUD. So people just ended up freaking out and selling for nothing. Some people.
But still the point remains, which is Bitcoin goes to stronger hands.
Oh yeah.
You can strengthen your hands, right? You can work on your grip. You can but it takes time. You have to build that anti-fragility within yourself. And only with that do you develop better grip.
Isn't it weird that the guy, sorry, Phil, before we go to you, but isn't it weird that the guy who coined the term anti-fragile is like one of the most fragile people? It was Nassim Taleb. So it's just kind of weird. He wrote the book on anti-fragility. Anyways, Phil, what are your thoughts on the whole Elon story?
Yeah, just to jump on the coins moving from weak hands to strong hands, and I think this is why the educational narrative is switching from telling people to buy Bitcoin and instead telling them to study Bitcoin, right? We don't want to waste time trying to orange pill people who are just going to sell at some headline or some new FUD piece that dropped, right? We want to get these people to have diamond hodl hands, and we want them to understand Bitcoin before they buy it, and so that when they buy it, they move it to cold storage and they don't panic, right? Or else it's a big waste of time, right? So
yeah, it's a good point. I mean, that I think that's kind of a tough thing, right? Like I feel like we've discussed this type of stuff before, but it's that whole meeting each person where they're at. I mean, I know, like, it's like we want to tell people, about self-custody. We want to tell people that, you shouldn't just be going and buying your Bitcoin on an exchange. And, you want to give everybody all the best practices, but at the same time, you don't want to scare them away, So to your point, it's good to come at it from it's like, look, I don't want you to buy Bitcoin. If you're interested to learn it, here's some, about Bitcoin, here's some good resources, right? Like it's because it's almost like the intention behind it matters, right? Like if the person is just buying it as a quote unquote investment, right? Or as like some kind of a make fast money vehicle, then it's going to be treated as such. It's going to be viewed as such, but if you can get them to understand why the qualities are important, then now all of a sudden you have a person that's holding Bitcoin with a different intention. So yeah, I appreciate that.
Our next story and final story for this week's Hopium is around the blocking saga, right? There's been individuals who have not been especially pro free speech, right? Wanting to block away. Now, everyone on Twitter blocks, right? We block bots, right? We block shitcoiners. But we don't generally block Bitcoiners. Why? Because Bitcoiners in general believe in free speech and in discussion of ideas over being a pussy, basically. Now, to me, it's a massive red flag when any sort of Bitcoiner goes on a mass blocking spree. Now, there are some, characters that are well known for this, right? Like Beaution is well known for having thousands and thousands of blocks. Of course, we saw Nick Carter hand out a bunch of blocks after the criticism of his shitcoinery. And now we have another Bitcoin CEO handing out blocks because they're liking memes. You might be thinking, what the fuck is this story doing in Hopium? Why is this a good thing? Well, it's a good thing because people show their colors all in due time. And plebs have always been showing their true colors. So they just keep being plebs. Others, they have to keep pivoting, right? And so what am I hopeful about this week? Well, I'm hopeful about free speech. It may well be that Twitter disable blocks but apparently they might not be able to, because if they do remove the ability to block accounts, apparently that may violate Apple and Google App Store policies, in which case then they would get removed from the app stores. Now, does any of this matter? Probably not. What could this mean? That we get more people using Nostr? Maybe. What do you think, guys? Do you think all of this drama this week to do with limiting free speech is actually good for free speech in the long run?
Yeah, I think things like this are another great advertisement for Nostr. It's definitely a platform that is censorship resistant and not run by a company or any one individual, right? Everyone can use the version of Nostr that they like, and it's not like blocks are impossible on Nostr. You can still block people in certain ways on Nostr, but these people are free to use a different version, or you can't suspend their ability to use Nostr, right? So whereas for example, Trump got banned from Twitter, so it's not like Trump could have made another account and got back on Twitter, right? That he would have been censored again, right? But so this is impossible to do on Nostr. So it's an interesting thing to think about for free speech. And I just reiterate what I said. I think Nostr is gaining some ground on these centralized platforms, and it's really fun too. I just started streaming on Nostr, and it's really cool. Zap.stream, check it out.
Very cool. Okay, and we're going to provide a link to that in the show notes. What I thought was absolutely hilarious is that Elon paid essentially $44 billion to be the king of his own castle in Apple Sandbox. He's like, he's all standing there. I just picture this little stick person. Yay! It's like Apple freaking Sandbox. Like, you're still going to do as you're told, bud. It's just hilarious.
There's a reason why I think the subscription is more, right? If you don't buy through the web.
That's a good point.
But I actually reckon this is going to come back. This will just be a paid feature, like so many other features that get rugged, right? This is just going to, it's just nonsense. But anyway.
Who was it that said that? Somebody tweeted that out as well. Damn it. But I agree with that totally.
Either way,
it's going to be a paid feature for sure.
I personally am feeling very hopeful on the fire that burns within plebs, because they didn't take no shit this week. They really didn't. They said, look, we're going to like all the memes we want. If you want to block me, you block me. You do you. I'm going to keep doing me. And you can try and talk to me about ethics. Pfft, come on. Like, plebs are legit. Plebs don't misrepresent themselves, and they're not trying to, sell things. Like, they're not trying to build fiat businesses that really are just about using Bitcoin for what it can be done. I'm not explaining this right. Some people just come into Bitcoin thinking, what can Bitcoin do for them? And some of those people build quote unquote Bitcoin businesses. Some of them aren't such Bitcoin businesses.
That's a very good point.
And I'm very hopeful on plebs continuing to call out what is what, continuing to do research, and continuing to ask questions, because ultimately, if you're blocking communication from people asking questions, are you really about the truth?
I think sadly, it's much more about narrative control. And that, that kind of sucks. So,
yeah, well, you can never buy PlebUnderground, so go fuck yourself.
This is true. This is true. All right, guys. This wraps up This wraps up the Hopium. Great job, Walton. That was absolutely awesome. And guys, this wraps up this week's episode of Pleb Underground. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check us out on our audio-only platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. If you want to stream us sats, check us out on fountain.fm. You could stream us sats through Breeze. All right, Walton, how do we wrap this one up?
Fuck shitcoins.com.
That's right. Fuck shitcoins. And Phil, thank you so much for joining us. Where can everybody reach you? How could they find you on Twitter?
Yeah, this was a lot of fun, guys. I just want to, just throw out a piece of advice. Keep working on yourself. Like, I'm working on my fitness journey. I know people are inspiring me, and some other people have told me that I'm inspiring them to get back on the fitness journey. Keep stacking sats, fuck shit coins, And if you want to find me on Twitter, find me on Nostr. I'm streaming as well. Those links will be in the show notes. Check out satoshisjournal.com, see what mass adoption is all about. We'll post the meetup link if you're in the New England area. We have meetups all the time, at least every month. So come find us.
Thank you very much. And guys, we will catch you all next week.
More toxic than the most toxic Bitcoin maxi ever. They said he's more toxic than the most